All right, thank you very much, Katrina. Hurricane Rita gaining steam, headed straight toward the oil drilling platforms in the Gulf of Mexico. Oil companies evacuating personnel from their rigs, which is something they do as a matter of course anyway, but they do have predictions that Rita could turn into a really big, bad storm. If Rita shuts down Gulf oil production, you know what to expect. Prices go up again. Question is, by how much? In his new book, Black Gold Stranglehold, Craig Smith talks about oil going to $100 a barrel and gasoline being $4 to $5 a gallon as the national average. So will we see that? And if so, when? Joining us now to discuss, Craig Smith, author of the book, CEO of SwissAmerica.com Trading Corporation. Craig, good morning. Thanks for being with us.
Good morning, Mark. Good to be back with you.
Are you talking about a spike to 100 or a constant price of 100?
Well, I don't think it'll be a constant, Mark, but clearly with super spike prices being leveled at $105 a barrel, and now with Hurricane Katrina aiming literally at dead center of those oil fields, we're terribly concerned that we could see a spike up to the $100 level, and even if we don't, we could see much higher gasoline and especially natural gas prices.
Oh, you're hurting David Grain here.
I agree with Craig totally.
You know, I listened to David say that the consumer is being bounced around by this, Mark, and I agree wholeheartedly. I mean, think about it. We had natural gas at $5 per MMBTU. It's now $12.66 or so.
Yeah.
Heating oil, $1.18, a high of $2.20. What is that going to do to the consumer in calendar year 2005 and beginning of 2006?
Well, that's the big question.
Good question. Yeah. You know, Craig, I know you didn't write a book all about just a short-term spike, so give us more of a sense here as to what you think are the longer-term implications and why oil, I would assume, is not going to be coming down to anything close to what we saw a year or two ago.
Yeah, I think the prognostications of $45 a barrel are very optimistic. I don't think we're going to get anywhere close to that. I think what we're seeing right now, guys, is a direct result of 30 years of a lack of comprehensive policy as it relates to building refineries, building distribution, and quite frankly, becoming more energy independent. We produce about 8.7 million barrels of oil on a daily basis domestically here in America. I believe we can increase that to close to the 20 million barrels we use a day.
No way. Come on. How?
I believe we can do that, Mark.
How?
I believe we've got 66 billion barrels in Anwar. We're now, the Rand Corporation just announced we have 1.1 trillion barrels in the oil shales of the Great Basin.
But how much of it is recoverable?
Well, I think at $70 a barrel, a whole bunch of it's recoverable.
Well, I raised the question because, and you well know it, but I think maybe many of our viewers don't. In the typical oil field, you only recover about 30 to 35% of what's there.
That's correct with conventional wisdom, but right. I happen to believe, and we outline this in the book Black Gold Stranglehold, that we have passed on the whole concept of deep abiotic oil in the mantle of the earth. And I think if we drill deep enough, Mark, we're going to see unbelievable amounts of oil. I don't believe the world is running out of oil. I take a totally contrarian position to that.
Whoa, wait a minute. This is Jules Verne's Journey to the Center of the Earth?
Well, no. Look, you know, the center of the Earth is molten. Obviously, you can't do anything
No, I'm
there.
exaggerating. Come on. I'm having some fun here.
Right. But clearly, I think that there is science out there, Mark, and we bring it forth in the book, and that's why we want people to look at the science that's available out there. I think the energy industry needs to take a whole new look at where we're going in the future, and I think America can lead the charge in this area. We should build new refineries, new pipelines, new distribution.
Where are we going to build the refineries? That's always the problem.
Well, you had Glenn McGinnis on air yesterday. He was talking about his new project in Tacna, Arizona, in Yuma County.
Yeah.
Why has he been fought by all the environmentalists when there's nothing down there but rattlesnakes and Gila monsters, for Pete's sake?
Hey, Craig, I mean, just to point out, so it's funny because you're ending up at a very high oil price prediction, but you're going a very different route than like Matt Simmons, who wrote a recent book also about Saudi Arabia running out of oil. You don't see that whole tipping point or believe that that we've used more than we have left in the earth, correct?
I really don't. I've got to tell you, if you look at Mendeleev and some of the science that's been brought out from Russia, look at Russia. Russia's going to surpass more than likely Saudi Arabia for oil production next year. They're nipping on their heels right now. They embraced this technology back in the 50s and 60s. Have you heard any problems with energy out of Russia? And I think you're going to start to see this science being embraced, and hopefully we can come up to a good balance between environmental safeties and the craziness that we've seen quite frankly, out of the environmental movement. Look, environmentalists have done a great job making the air cleaner and the water cleaner, so I don't want to discount that.
Right.
But I think they've been too restrictive. I think we need to look at the economy. I think we need to look at how America depends on good energy to continue to grow, and we should embrace a technology that can continue to get us there.
David is a major consumer. He wants to ask you a question.
Yeah, Craig, first of all, I'm glad to hear what you're saying there. Maybe you can get involved in the power generation industry as well, because we could use your views in that part of the energy complex. But I wanted to ask you a question. What do you think of the recently passed energy bill as a piece of national energy policy?
Well, I happen to believe it's a pretty good basic bill. I don't take the belief that because see, I happen to believe some bill was better than no bill. I mean, let's face facts. It's the first piece of decent legislation we've seen, in my opinion, in 20 years. But I think we need to go further. I think we need to pursue ANWR. There's 65 billion barrels of oil in ANWR, and I happen to believe there's quite a bit more. I think we need to pursue deep drilling in the Gulf. I think we need to pursue the Great Basin. I truly believe, and guys, I'm just not trying to be optimistic here. I truly believe we have domestic resources and the technology capable to get us very close to being energy independent, at least to the point where we don't have to depend on the Middle East for oil. Between Mexico, Canada, Venezuela, and our own production, I think we can be on the road to energy independence in a very short period of time.
Okay, Craig, thank you very much.
Good being with you.
Craig Smith, author of Black Gold, Strangle Gold, CEO of SwissAmerica.com Trading Corporation. Coming up, retail discount, why Walmart